All right, everyone. Bernie Sanders got utterly embarrassed and annihilated in 3 primary states on March 17th, and his campaign is fundamentally over. He just decided to drop all the Facebook ads. I'm sure that he's having problems conning so many people into sending him money now, which means his campaign is going to have to downsize. He's basically done. He's fallen too far behind in the delegate count to ever have the possibility of making it up. I realize that because of all the states canceling and delaying primaries, which is literally a pile of goddamn witch voodoo bullshit, it's not going to help anyone. Because of that, you've got 3 weeks until you have the next primary that actually allocates delegates, and who knows, maybe those states will decide to delay as well. I think one of the states that would have gone did, actually. Was it Georgia or something? Ironically, a Biden stronghold. I realize that technically Biden, therefore, has to wait at least 3 weeks to pretty much have it clinched, and he'd have to win by a significant margin in those states, a margin that he may or may not actually get to. But if you look at national polling, if you look at the state-to-state results, if you look at the map of voting proclivities, if you match up Sanders' performance, including in these one-on-one races, which we've now had several of, not just early on when the field was crowded, if you compare that to 2016, he's down everywhere. In virtually every voting district, not just every state, but in virtually every district within every state, he is down considerably from his 2016 totals. Now, you can chalk this up to any of a million things. You can say Bernie's being screwed by the DNC. Bernie got older. His message doesn't resonate as much because, people mature over time. It's economic in nature until recently. Of course, the economy was surging on ahead. He's running on an economic platform. Biden's better than Hillary Clinton. But Bernie's had a heart attack. You can chalk it up to anything. I think it's a combination of factors. A stale platform, one that includes now a huge amount of overreach. The opportunism, the heart attack, and age certainly didn't help. And the fact that Joe Biden is more liked than Hillary Clinton. Maybe demented, but, in a funny way. I can't wait to see him debate Donald Trump, and he will be the nominee. Here's the problem. Bernie Sanders refuses to drop out, and I know why, because he wants more money from people. As long as his campaign is active, something like 5-10% of Democrats will rally behind him anyway and continue giving him little monthly donations. And as long as he shoestrings his campaign, he can take that money and he can use it for other purposes. Another Senate bid. When you build a war chest like this, you can roll it over into other uses. There's no refunds, by the way. If you're still funding Bernie Sanders, you gotta be a loser, dude. There's something seriously wrong with you if you decide to fund somebody who, numerically speaking, cannot win. The other possibility is maybe he's waiting for that 1 in a million chance Biden has another aneurysm next week or something. That's a possibility. Other than that, though, barring, basically from the Sanders standpoint, it would be a miracle. Bernie Sanders can't win. And he did this before. He did this in 2016. It became clear, around, I can't remember which month, relatively early on, that he had fallen considerably behind in the delegate count. It wasn't the DNC screwing him. I mean, initially it was to some degree, but he never had as much support. Bernie Sanders simply does not have the kind of voting bloc power necessary to overwhelm a neoliberal candidate, because socialism is not the mainstream within the Democratic Party, let alone the regular voting public. There are also independents in some of the open primary states that take a ballot. Most of them voted, I believe, against Bernie Sanders. I think that it's independent voters and business Democrats coming out in record numbers. It's not younger voters doing that, and that's hurting him. Younger voters right now, I think they're less fired up because, again, until basically a couple of weeks ago, at the very least you had a strong economy and a relatively peacetime sort of diplomacy going on. Well, you can ramble all day about ma racist Trump or ma evil bigot Trump, orange Hitler, but the proof is in the pudding. When you actually look at the on-the-ground effect of the Trump presidency on the average person's life, it was considerably better for this year than a few years ago when he first took office. Considerably better. Some of that has been reversed in the last couple of weeks. This could, by the way, play a role in the election. I'm not expecting that it will cause Trump to be defeated because I think by November the problem will have largely solved itself. That's just my theory. That could change, by the way. The longer it drags on, the more it could do attrition to Trump's approval. However, we also see Trump is largely approved of in his response at this point. he could end up getting more popular because of coronavirus, and that would screw the Democrats hardcore chocolate style. And it'd be a good thing, by the way. Replacing Trump with neoliberalism while the economy has problems would be like solving the problem of having a cut on your foot by cutting your foot off, in all honesty. But Sanders can't win. Unless Biden, again, has a major health issue. You know, he starts stumbling around, moaning on stage, he's got an aneurysm. He fucking dies or something. Has to drop out or whatever. Unless that happens, Bernie Sanders won't be the Dem nominee. I don't think he's favored in any of the polls in any of the remaining states from the last month or so. I think he's behind literally everywhere. He could end up going forward and winning not a single additional state. He's not even, I think, favored in the rest of the New England states, like in Connecticut or Rhode Island. He's not going to win. So basically put a sock in it, Bernie. Yeah, one of the headlines today was, hey, Bernie, here's a message to Bernie Sanders, turn on, tune in, drop out. Basically, you know, the legacy media is telling him to get out. He gets to therefore run on, well, they're trying to stop us. We've got a coalition like no other. But you're not winning any states, dude. You won one of the 6 states that went a little over a week ago. You won none of the 3 states that went 2 days ago. You're not favored to win any of the states that go in 3 weeks. Why are you still in the race? You have been rejected by the Democratic voters. Socialism has been rejected by them. By the way, that's a good thing. It shows that there's some maturity left within the Democratic Party. And while it would have been infinitely funny to see a doddering, crazy, nearly 80-year-old dude who gets antagonized, apparently said fuck to a reporter the other day when queried about the status of his campaign. Oh, I'm fucking dealing with coronavirus. What the fuck? I'm busy doing other things. And it was hilarious. I mean, come on, dude. It would have been hilarious, but you're not going to get the chance. Instead, we're going to have demented Grandpa Biden, who will be, at the end of the day, I think, a lot funnier. He'll do better than Bernie Sanders would do. How the hell can you possibly argue, well, Bernie Sanders would do better than Joe Biden in a general election? He can't beat Biden. Ergo, why the fuck would he beat Trump? It makes no goddamn sense. If he's coming in sucking hind tit to Biden in every goddamn part of the country, how the hell would he drive higher general turnout? Yeah, he'd drive higher turnout among Republicans, who would come out in massive, unprecedented numbers to vote against socialism. Joe Biden's already been one heart attack from the White House, from the presidency anyway. He's already been in the White House for 2 terms. At the end of the day, he doesn't scare Republicans as much as someone like Sanders does. Scared people vote. So, again, Bernie Sanders would get fucked. He'd probably start losing solid blue states. He could be at danger of losing a state like New York. That's not a joke. That's about all. Peace out.